65 million years ago, Earth would have looked something like this. Where you are sitting, the dinosaurs used to roam, from the depth of the sea to the top of the sky, from a creature weighing 100,000 kilograms to birds larger than the combined size of 4 elephants, ruling every corner. But what happened that in just a few hours they were wiped out? Why did our ancestors survive? And how did humans come to Earth? Let's learn from this video. Let's go back in time a little. This is our Earth. At that time, due to high oxygen levels, trees towering 30 to 35 stories were visible everywhere. And there used to live dinosaurs. This is the 8-story tall Argentinosaurus. In a day, it used to devour entire jungles. Back then, the Earth looked something like this. These are the deserts of lime, where it hasn't rained for millions of years. Even here, they were the reigned supreme. This is India, which was drifting toward Asia. At that time, the land of India was covered with lava, and rajasaurs were found here. There is something unique about this place. From creatures as long as 7 buses to crabs the size of humans. If you step out and look around, you'll find titanosaurs stretching for many kilometers in the American desert. Weighing as much as 20 elephants. These creatures, taller than 8-story buildings, have gathered here today to give birth to their young ones. Across every corner of the world, the sounds of dinosaurs echoed through the air, but they had no idea that today would be the day they would face their extinction. In fact, in our solar system, between Jupiter and Mars, countless meteoroids orbit the Sun. 100 million years ago, 2 of these meteoroids collided, and a piece of it began to speed toward Earth at high speed. As it neared, some fragments broke off and fell onto the Moon. However, due to the Moon's weak gravity, it couldn't pull them in. As the piece drew closer to Earth, its speed increased, and the atmosphere began to burn it. It crashed to the ground at a staggering 80,000 kilometers per hour. It was 1:30 in the night here. 4 minutes before the collision, the entire Earth was lit up. When the animals saw this bright flash, they were all blinded. Before it fell, the water there dried up. As soon as it fell, the explosion's power was equal to today's 100 million atomic bombs. The 6,000 degrees Celsius heat emitted by it instantly reduced the animals around it to ash, blowing them away in an instant. The 150-kilometer wide land was blasted into space, and only 5 seconds had passed since the collision. The shock wave generated by this explosion was moving ahead at a speed of 550 kilometers per second. It started flinging stones at the speed of a bullet. The nearby rivers began to flow in reverse. The trees in the jungle began to fall. The mountains began to crumble. After a few seconds, a terrifying wave of heat melted the flying stones, turning them into lava. Every drop of water that came into contact with it instantly turned into steam. The ocean began to boil. In the blink of an eye, the forest was drying up. The animals' bodies were boiling, and this was only the beginning. The collision caused thousands of tons of material to be sent into space, where it stayed for a moment before gravity pulled it back, spreading across the Earth and falling down once again. It was also burning as it drifted, and wherever it fell, there was destruction for many kilometers. The collision shook the Earth to its very core, and within seconds a violent earthquake erupted, shaking everything in its path. Therefore, the seawater began mixing with the sand on the ground, which began to suffocate the creatures, and destruction began to unfold there as well. Just 5 minutes had passed, yet outside, animals were in complete panic. A wave of hot dust and soil, stirred by the explosion, surged forward, racing through everything in its path. The dust in the clouds caused lightning to strike through them. In the middle of the storm, thousands of tons of heavy animals and trees were being tossed into the air. In a short time, the storm reached Africa, causing the air in the lime deserts to change, and the clouds started to turn poisonous. Behind this, the collision had pushed the seawater even higher above the clouds. A terrifying wave of hot water was approaching. Within 5 hours, the entire Earth was covered in dust. The Earth's temperature had risen to several hundred degrees Celsius. The whole world was covered in flames, and the earthquake awakened the long-dead volcanoes. Every second, the Earth grew hotter and the oxygen levels began to drop. The frozen snow started to melt away, and the rivers began to overflow. After this great devastation, most of the insects living underground and only some mammals survived, but 70% of the Earth's population was wiped out. Some dinosaurs were still alive, who were either small or had found refuge in caves. The creatures living in the depths of the sea were also safe, but their time was about to come to an end as well. After a few days, poisonous clouds started to rain all over the world. Day by day, the sea turned poisonous. This led to the death of marine forests as well. The dust-covered Earth was gradually cooling down. Within a few months, the entire Earth was blanketed in snow. Our ancestors, fearful of dinosaurs, ate anything they could find. Despite the low oxygen, they had adapted to living underground for months. The ground was hot, and a kingdom of small creatures thrived within it.